Halloween, that rare season when the grotesque becomes glamorous and the dead are suddenly marketable. But tonight, we're not talking about Halloween or The Exorcist or The Shining. Forget the obvious. Let's dig deeper into the strange corners of horror cinema, where madness meets poetry and monsters are metaphors. These are 10 horror films that deserve a resurrection. And Cemetery Man. Death is just a bureaucratic inconvenience. Every night, the dead rise, and every morning, Francesco Delamorte shoots them back into silence. But when love enters his decaying world, logic collapses, and so does identity. Soavi's film is what happens when Dante's Inferno meets Twin Peaks. It's horror filtered through Italian absurdism, erotic, self-reflexive, and melancholy. You could say it's a zombie movie about the death of meaning itself. Reanimator is Lovecraft reimagined as punk comedy. Herbert West isn't a scientist, he's an addict. His drug? Life itself. Stuart Gordon directs with manic glee, turning resurrection into slapstick. Under the gore, though, lies something tragic. Humanity's refusal to accept limits, even the most natural one, death. It's grotesque, hilarious, and, like its protagonist, impossible to kill. If Halloween was about fear in suburbia, The Fog is fear returning from history. A century-old crime resurfaces as glowing mist that engulfs a coastal town. Carpenter crafts atmosphere like music, deliberate, rhythmic, mournful. Every light, every shadow feels like guilt catching up with civilization. It's not a ghost story, it's a confession. Jack Hill Spider Baby is an unholy blend of horror and family comedy. The Marai family suffers from a genetic curse. They regress into madness, childhood, and murder. Lon Chaney Jr., once the Wolfman, plays their caretaker with heartbreaking gentleness. The film feels both funny and funereal, a bridge between classic monsters and the sadism of modern horror. Spider Baby laughs at the American family while mourning its collapse. Before Friday the 13th, before Halloween, Mario Bava choreographed death like opera. A Bay of Blood is pure form, color, light composition. The plot is a chain of murders over an inheritance. But plot is irrelevant. Bava turns violence into geometry, a camera that glides like a knife. If Hitchcock invented suspense, Bava made it beautiful. While the world dies outside, Prince Prospero parties. Corman and Poe's The Mask of the Red Death is both pageant and parable, an orgy of color confronting mortality. Vincent Price plays it like a danse macabre, charming, cruel, doomed. Corman's palette bleeds moral meaning. Red as lust, red as death, red as truth. It's camp, yes, but it's also philosophy in Technicolor. Long before Middle-earth, Peter Jackson built a kingdom of blood. Dead Alive, or Brain Dead, is the wildest splatter film ever made. It's so excessive it circles back to innocence. The violence becomes cartoon, the grotesque becomes grace. Jackson directs with gleeful insanity, proof that sometimes horror is just love gone too far. Shot in 3D by a one-eyed director, irony made legend. House of Wax turns spectacle into nightmare. Vincent Price sculpts beauty from corpses, and Toth turns that into metaphor. Art as obsession, art as violence. Every wax figure is both creation and confession. In 3D, they stare back at you, accusingly, tenderly alive. No gore, no ghosts, just suggestion. Robert Wise's The Haunting is a masterclass in unseen terror. Hill House doesn't scare you, it absorbs you. Wise turns architecture into psychology, using sound and space to trap the viewer inside Eleanor's mind. It's not just haunted, it's lonely. Horror as empathy, fear as intimacy. The Entity remains one of the most unsettling films ever made. Not because of what it shows, but because of how it looks. Fury's camera glides like a phantom, violating space and safety. Barbara Hershey gives a raw, agonizing performance that grounds the supernatural in trauma. It's horror stripped of escapism, a confrontation with invisible violence. Horror isn't a genre, it's a mirror. And these films, in all their strangeness, reflect something most blockbusters can't. Our fears of decay, of guilt, of the body, of meaning itself. This Halloween, skip the familiar. Watch something that doesn't just make you scream, but makes you think. Because the best horror isn't about monsters. It's about the living, pretending not to be dead.